We are live. This is the market update. Question: do sovereigns need a distraction? All of them. US, Europe. Answer: yes. And they need it soon. How would they get that distraction? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crypto Week preview. In other words, we have a situation where optics and politics are so bad for the current administration that they have a very unique opportunity to do something very simple, which is give preferable tax treatment, meaning no capital gains, for the American-made cryptos. Seems logical, right? I mean, they just got done handing out tax cuts and all kinds of sugar, so why not stay on a roll? Meanwhile, you're probably not getting the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. I mean, you're not getting the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And if you are, it's much later. Like, the only thing they would have to buy Bitcoin with is tariff money. So let's just assume you're not getting anything on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve front. And Bitcoin has completely stalled. We all know it's going higher, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe Bitcoin is such a consensus long, Steak and Shake painting its building orange, and frankly, this Bitcoin treasury company is starting to see some serious cringe. This leads to I think, to the start of like an alt season. Like, if you get the American-made cryptos going, I mean, these are big cryptos, right? You're talking about Algorand, Hedera, Cardano, XRP. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up. Honestly, there's nowhere to go but up in the major altcoins. So they're going to have ETFs. They're going to have favorable tax treatment, or you would think, right? Or they're going to price in favorable tax treatment because, again, no one is long. And there's plenty of evidence that people are dumping Bitcoin. People are just like, you know what? I'm just going to take profits. I'm going to say, see you later. So there may be kind of an allocation out of Bitcoin into the whole rest of the market that's just, frankly, destroyed. Right? If you look at total altcoin market cap, any metric of altcoin market cap, the way I would say it is those coins are suppressed. They're suppressed, right? No one is buying them. No one. And everyone has probably gotten out and is just completely frustrated. Like, the frustration levels, particularly if you look at the way these coins have performed versus Bitcoin. In other words, the underperformance of most alts versus Bitcoin has been stunning. Like, everyone focuses on like Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but like if you looked at Cardano versus Bitcoin, XRP versus Bitcoin, if you looked at all these charts, you'd be like, oh my God, this can go up a lot. And this says nothing about the whole stablecoin trade, right? The stablecoin trade has not been done. And if crypto is legalized, okay, formally, this means that all these big layer ones, are off the might be a security future Gensler list, for lack of a better term. In other words, layer ones become formally legit if they pass this legislation. And of course, like any market, they're going to price that in way before that happens. And that could be starting now, like right now, as we speak, right? The Bitcoin correction is a massive top in Bitcoin dominance, which we discussed yesterday. So what are the consensus trades? Short dollar in the FX market, they're going to get squeezed, and long Bitcoin. And Bitcoin may just do nothing. Bitcoin has a history of doing absolutely nothing. It did it at 10K during DeFi summer in 2020. What happens if we have layer one summer? People are telling me this can't happen. It can happen. All right, let's welcome who's here. Tyler Hall, good morning from the antivirus universe. Ben, Roby, MJ Hits, Shelly. Find out now. Yav, what's up? Miguel, Malik, Stefan, Thomas, Mr. Armac, Zepedas. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, news, let's go. The U.S. stock market now has a higher market cap than Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, India, UK, France, Germany, China, Spain, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa combined. Thought American exceptionalism was dead. Okay, well, I don't know about American exceptionalism, but these valuations are led by, anywhere from 7 to 20 companies. And we are FOMOing into equities. Retail is just in time for alt season. Just in time for the orange man to push the tax-free button on American-made cryptos. How funny is that? Interest rates are rising. Okay? Like, the Treasury bond market is getting the picture that, we're spending too much money. And with Elon on the tape every single day criticizing these guys, they're undermining the confidence in the capital markets, or in the bond market in particular, right? The optics of whatever happened yesterday was so bad, guys were in tears. They got a bond market problem, and their only way out of this is the American-made cryptos. It's the only way out. There's no option. Bitcoin strategic reserve, okay, well, that would be great. So if you're going to come out and say we're going to buy gazillions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, you would also think that that would be accompanied by the tax-free treatment of the American-made cryptos. And I think you're going to get that regardless. And again, Cardano's up 4% as I'm talking. It's going to happen. Or it's going to get priced in, right? Most wallet cohorts are in distribution mode, except retail holders with 1 to 10 BTC. Okay? The notable exception is that entities that are small are showing accumulation. Meanwhile, the bigger wallets are in distribution. So that's interesting, right? The divergence highlights a clear split in conviction between small and large holders. So it sounds like the small guy's buying and the big guy is selling in Bitcoin. All right. So again, you can use on-chain data to fit just about any conclusion, and it is very interesting. So the what's called the R-HODL ratio from Glassnode, it is reaching its highest level so far this cycle. This signals a shift. More wealth is held by single cycle holders, while 1 day to 3 month activity is low. Historically, such a turn marks transition in cycles and cooling speculative momentum. In other words, Bitcoin's going to do nothing, right? You have whales selling to sailor with retail buying. Nothing's going to happen. And this happens with consensus long plays. Nothing happens. So that opens the door for the American-made crypto. Okay, Steak and Shake painted the inside of the store orange. Coffee shops are buying Bitcoin. Doomberg notes that things are getting frothy. I hate to say it. I actually agree. This is crossed over into super cringe. Now, again, Bitcoin treasury companies buying Bitcoin with hopes of getting taken over. Long term, that's a perfect strategy. That said, okay, we have twinsies on Michael Saylor's the Bitcoin Treasury Digital Conference. Twinsy orange ties? Really? Oof. Like I always say, that and Steak and Shake. Stop it. Not bullish. Not bullish for Bitcoin when people are acting like this, right? Tether expected to become the world's largest Bitcoin miner. Tether does not plan to go public. Of course not. Why would they? Right? I mean, Tether moved to El Salvador, so I don't think that's going to happen. And even if Tether did go public, at least, for their model, They don't want SEC regulation. If you're a public company, you are subject to regulation out the wazoo. Okay. So they're like, no, we don't want that, which goes back to my original point, which is why XRP is going to get acquired, right? XRP going public, if someone misses that, they're crazy. Because if they just buy the company outright, right, it's not like a regulated security that they're purchasing. I think XRP is worth more if it stays private. America is ready for crypto. See, this is how you know. This is how you know. America is ready for crypto. The Clarity Act just means it's legal. It's already legal, but okay. The Clarity Act. Part of the Clarity Act has got to include something about the American-made cryptos. It's got to. It has to, right? Anybody made in America, or maybe they just go across the board, like no transaction tax on crypto. Like, altcoins would just be screaming if that was the case, because they're so undervalued, right? I mean, you would want to buy something low and then let it go up and then use it for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could pay with XRP, or you could pay with even something like Cardano or Algorand or, Avalanche, if you could pay with those type of cryptos, whoosh, off goes the market. Off goes the market. Bitcoin dominance will crash at some point. Bro, how about right now? This looks like a crash to me. Really. This looks like you have a rising wedge, right, at the top of a move. So it's not an accumulation cone. It's exhaustion. These type of formations are like a runner running up a hill, and they're running and they're running and they're running, but the incline keeps increasing. And eventually they just gas out and give up. You got a Lux Algo sell signal on this. Bitcoin dominance is currently at 64. The 200-day moving average is at 62. And frankly, I think that's the minimum. I think you could have Bitcoin dominance go all the way back down to 60. Why not? I mean, why is Solana at 150 again? Right? Why? It's incredible. It makes absolutely no sense. Neither does XRP, and ETH at 2,500 is just laughable, especially if you got every layer one going. Now, because again, remember, Uniswap, like the American-made cryptos. Like, let me stop guessing what they are and just show you this, right? Chainlink, Doge, wowza, right? How high could that go with Elon getting involved? Don't forget about Stellar, Bitcoin Cash considered American-made. PAL, Near, Akash was breaking out yesterday. Like this is happening. Don't forget Polkadot. Who's talking about Polkadot? Nobody. Nobody is talking about any of these cryptos, which were all mooning back in the day. Litecoin, haha, right? Laughing. Pengu, Cardano. Even, you know what? Yesterday I was going to look at the Orange Man's meme coin. I was like, oh, this thing's got to be crashing after this thing with the list. No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Right? Pengu still looking like cup and handle on the 4-hour chart. Right? Looks okay to me. Cup and handle. Pengu. Orange Man's meme coin, not terrible. Not terrible. I mean, 12-hour chart, it's moving. It's moving. Wouldn't that be funny, right? I mean, the guy has egg all over his face, and, it's kind of cool to do the whole MAGA is dead thing yesterday. I did it. I'm not exactly happy, but these guys could redeem themselves in epic fashion and change the conversation in a hurry, because no one's going to care about a law enforcement issue if crypto is mooning. So, I mean, you gotta seriously take a look at this. Again, even Solana, SEI, right? I mean, SEI is going to run Wyoming stablecoin. I mean, I know I'm reading what you can say. Ondo, Gala Games, dude. This could be an absolute moonathon. A moonathon. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance could crash. And here's some just general Bitcoin hate. Bitcoin was supposed to be the exit ramp, a way to opt out of a broken financial system. But instead of getting replaced, TradFi just adapted to it. Right? They let crypto build the rails. Now, the biggest innovation on the blockchain is tokenized fiat. And BlackRock owns a huge chunk of Bitcoin. I'm not hating on Bitcoin. I'm just saying, like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, crypto's the answer. And now it's stable coins. But it's stupid, right? Because it's way beyond Bitcoin. And if you're running stable coins, you're going to have to run all those on massive layer ones with all kinds of DeFi applications running. Uniswap, Aave, those charts, they look amazing. Aave just looks amazing. Profitable businesses. You tell me this can't happen? Oh, this can happen, people. This can absolutely happen because people are looking at Bitcoin going, okay, well, this is now boomer coin, right? This is now boomer coin. It is absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so Elon just went full Bitcoin. And, Elon is now on the tape. Breaking news, unfollowing just about everybody, right? Just started following Andrew Yang. All kinds of great stuff going on in the political arena. And the administration needs a distraction. Tax-free American-made cryptos. We want American crypto as an industry. And we do. Right? That immediately changes the conversation off all these horrendous optics over the last couple of days. Horrendous. And the market knows it. I woke up today. I'm like, you know what? This is happening. Or it's going to get priced in either way. I mean, you could have like 6 days of a rampage higher in this stuff, pricing it in. So this literally may be buy the rumor, sell the fact after the Coinbase tweet. You don't know, right? You got a lot of GAN related events this month. Yeah, you could get some serious volatility, dude. Radium flips hyperliquid. Wow. Why is everyone down on Solana? I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, right? You put a Solana ETF to get a Solana phone, and then you just ignite this whole stablecoin thing. I mean, Solana at 140 is just a total joke to me. And then even if that's wrong, SUI is way down, right? All the AI cryptos are way down. I mean, just look at the tape this morning. Just look at what's moving, right? XRP up 3%, SUI up 2.5%, right? They're after this stuff today, right? DGen, which we talked about yesterday, up 6%, right? This whole idea of like a new social media communication. Like, how is this not? And this is Solana versus Bitcoin. Like, how is this not happening? Right? I mean, do you need to be a TA genius to see this? I don't think so. Right? This is massively overdone. Right? And then if you look at this, if you look at signals and overlays from LuxAlgo, right? If you look at signals and overlays, you have massive new lows. Whoops. You have massive new lows in Solana versus Bitcoin here. And you have higher lows in their stochastic indicator after everybody literally just gave up in Solana in favor of Bitcoin because you got this red on red heave. So everyone has given up on altcoins versus Bitcoin, which is crazy. That's absolutely nuts. Nuts. And again, you got a lot of cringe headlines. You do. Right? Like, oh, airplane company takes Bitcoin. Okay. Great to see the adoption. but it's not moving price. It's not moving price, right? I mean, Bitcoin XRP anchored as Ether looks prone to volatility. You know, the thing that's interesting is they've actually run out of stuff to talk about when it comes to like this volatility thing, like where volatility goes to zero. This is, I don't know what GVol is, but I get what they're trying to say. BTC options market, just dead. Like the greatest environment for what are called options market makers, call it the house, right? You know, if you buy a call option, that's a bet it's going to go up. If you buy a put option, it's a bet it's going to go down. But what options market makers do is they sell both. They sell them all. They don't make money whether it goes up or down because they hedge the price risk. Let's put it that way. So if volatility expands, options get more expensive. But if the market doesn't move, options collapse. So they you know, just pretend the market just sits at 109. Oh, someone thinks it's going up, down, up, down, up, down. Everybody make their bet. Okay, where did it go? Nowhere. Thank you. Take everyone's money. This is the perfect market for that type of stuff. Now, that said, when it becomes a news headline, like, oh, volatility is gone, it's not here anymore. Okay, maybe it is in Bitcoin, but what about the rest of this market? I don't think people are not getting this, right? You're coming from a place of like winter slumber into a week where if they don't change the subject, they're done. Like, seriously, think about this. If they don't turn around the optics, they're going to have no credibility in Eastern Europe. Like, no one's going to talk to them. Everyone's like, well, dude, you just lost your whole base. Why do we have to listen to you? Why do we have to do anything you say? Right? He's going to have no credibility. He's got to get the crypto bros. And Elon may not be far behind. Like, for example, like I didn't even look at it, but let's look at it, right? I mean, I would imagine that if they do a stunt, they do the tax-free thing, Elon has got to come in and start buying Doge. You got this huge head and shoulders bottom, and it's doing a sideways breakout out of a Lux Algo formation. I mean, you really got to ask yourself about risk reward here. You know what I mean? I mean, this was like this slow grinding bid. It came off. Everyone thinks it's not going to move anymore. I mean, equilibrium in Doge is 20 cents. The 200-day moving average is at 23 cents. It's currently at 17 cents. I'm like, wow. Hello. So again, you know, people are also acting like this is not happening. Robinhood says AI stock tokens backed by special purpose vehicle. Boy, they really are determined to get those private stocks trading on chain. Everyone's like, oh my God, real world assets. You know, there's going to be $11 trillion on chain. Really? Okay. Well, you know what? If there's going to be $11 trillion on chain, why is Ondo like, look at this, you know, it's like destroyed. And frankly, as I said yesterday, if you were a corporation, right, and you had an announcement and the orange man's out there going, we want crypto to be an industry, you would make your big announcement the week of crypto week. So the orange man get on the tape, say, see, look what our American crypto companies are doing. Look at BlackRock and Ondo or whatever. I can see this happening. And I can see a massive narrative shift because they desperately need one. Like this stuff that happened the other day where like, you know, MAGA is dead, frankly. I mean, that's what it looked like. That's what everyone was saying. And I don't know if that's true or not. But the most logical pivot is towards this. Real world assets, DeFi, I mean, you name it. This stuff is just, I mean, and Ave, and again, we brought this up. Can you tell that this is the bear market that everything else is in? Hell no, you can't. Heck no. right? This looks like a solid uptrend. Where do you think all these stable coins are going? This is a profitable business. You know, I can't get one of my models off Uniswap. I just keep saying, you know, Uniswap, look at this. Oh my God. Up 7%. Hello. Blowing through the 200-day moving average. Want to hear something ridiculous? Alt season, anyone? I mean, seriously, it's perfect, especially with the Bitcoin dominance top. Look at total 3. You don't think altcoins can go up? Okay. Everyone, grab your cup. We're going to fill it up with some Kool-Aid. You ready? Here we go. So total 3 is total altcoin market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Money flow is still green. Interesting, huh? And this head and shoulders pattern, if you want to get completely crazy, do you realize that if you took this out, this would be the theoretical target? Wait, I'm going to draw it. It's worth sticking around for. Okay, total altcoin market cap currently is at like 830 billion. It could go to 1.25 trillion, which is interesting. Because if you think about NVIDIA's market cap, not the actual, like, not the total value of NVIDIA, the value that the market cap changes. So you have a big crash, you have a big rally, okay? That's 1.6 trillion. So the changes in NVIDIA's market cap are bigger than, are twice as big as Web3. With a stablecoin act, with the crypto week, with a complex head and shoulders bottom, and this neckline is upward sloping. So if altcoins break out, they're just going to go. You break this line and you don't come back and retest it, or you don't get back below it, it is gone. That is based on theory. Like what is everyone doing? And I've been saying this for weeks. And of course, you know, you grind on. Everyone, you know, at some point you get like droned out. You get tuned out. Okay, fine, right? It's not. I mean, it is timing the market, but it's also about time in the market, right? And the thing that's amazing to me is after all of this news about this one issue that, you know, everyone got upset about, how are things going with governments? They giving it to you straight, you think? I don't think so, right? And I'm hoping at 3 million market cap, this got to go up, especially if they start talking about transactional freedom. I mean, they said they're dropping the case against Tornado Cash. Transactional freedom was the subject of a speech by RFK at the Libertarian Convention. Transactional freedom. That means if you want to operate out of MetaMask, you want privacy or whatever, they dropped the case against Tornado Cash. Yet privacy coins, like, you know, that's my privacy coin. But, you know, if you look at, you know, Zcash is American made. It's on the American made list. You know, again, and this could be why Bitcoin Cash has been moving. I mean, we are going to find out why Bitcoin Cash has been moving. We just don't know what the answer is. Wow, is that for real? Is that candle actually happening? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Wow. Wild price action in Zcash. Transactional freedom, my point is, let's start over. American-made crypto week. Transactional freedom. Tax-free treatment for American-made cryptos. Or possibly tax-free treatment for all cryptos. Meaning you're not paying capital gains taxes if you spend it. Which would make a lot of sense because you would then increase the velocity of money. Not the velocity of dollars, But you would start getting, oh, wow, I can spend Bitcoin without a tax problem. Oh, let's go to Steak and Shake. Let's buy a car. Let's go on a plane trip, right? And of course, that becomes true with altcoins. Like, do you seriously think, with kind of like the inflation and the job market stalled, for example, that companies could ingratiate themselves with the orange man by accepting his coin or American-made cryptos as payment for the holidays or back to school, right? In other words, if you wanted to show that you were with the program and maybe you wanted to avoid tariffs, you would get on board with whatever they announce this upcoming 2-week period. Okay, so something to think about. No one's thinking about alt season, but your screen is telling you something different. And one thing about altcoins is you really haven't been able to put back-to-back days together. You haven't. Like, you have not seen up, up, up. You haven't seen like a triple crown. Everything goes up, everyone gets sucked in, and it goes back down. It's torture. What happens if that ends and you have like a 2-week vertical move and then profit taking is later, if at all? And of course, there's the idea that this thing could just take off because everyone is thinking about Bitcoin, and that's become somewhat cringe. And altcoins, as we have said, are undervalued or suppressed. That's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.